on my side of the family, we only really, of our grandparents, we only had Nana really. And to us, she always seemed old. And I can remember when we were little going to her house, and she had like a stand with all her plates and her precious things, and there was a little bird that was in a little nest, and we'd always run up and we'd lift up the bird to check if there was any eggs, and there were always some little chocolate eggs, and she had some colouring books, and she'd always bring up the colouring books, and we used to love that. I think it was more to keep us quiet, but and as we grew older, Nana was always good fun. I mean, there were times when she did annoy us, but she was always good fun. I mean, I'd go around to visit her, and she'd look at my t-shirt or my clothes and say, "What's that on your clothes? What's that writing?" And I'd say, "That's just a brand." And she'd say, "Oh, I don't understand anything these days." And I remember when I first took Juliana, my wife, to meet her, and we were looking at the photos, and I took out all her photos of Brazil and India, and I said, "I'll put them back, don't worry, I'll put them back." I put them back, what I thought was neatly, and I think up until she died, she was complaining about how I messed up her photos. And on behalf of my brothers and sisters, I didn't have to say so, but I just wanted to say what a great grandmother she was, and how much we thank God that we had her as our grandmother, we had her in our lives, and that the amount of work that she did in India and Brazil is an example to all of us as Christians and as people.
She was the first person to be converted in my family, a very large Catholic family. And then I came to know Jesus through the life of my grandma. She was a faithful woman, like Edith. And I think my grandma was a fruit of Edith's work in Brazil. She came from a Pentecostal church. She was converted there, and maybe one of the church that Edith planted in Brazil. And Edith was more than a friend. She was an inspiration for my life. She is like a mom, a grandma, a friend, and everything. And then she thought I was helping her, but she was helping me. She was a blessing to my life. And then I'm so grateful to God, to Edith's life. I heard her stories, the stories that Bo and Colin told here. And then I just want to thank Edith for her life, for her work, and then for her prayer. I will be the one that I will miss her prayers, like I miss my grandma's prayers. And I would like to say to all her family that you are a blessing to my life, and you are kind of my family. I didn't have a Christian family, but I had a great grandma, and I had Edith in my life, and you are my family as well. I just want to thank God for your life, for Edith's work and your dad's work in Brazil, because I might be one of the fruit of your man's work in Brazil.
So, having been so touched by Paul's and Father Jeffery over the years, and then the story I was sharing with Natalie and Esther earlier, where when I first went to the Elim Church in Kidderminster, and really with a lot of indifference and different feelings about where my faith was and how I felt about Christ and continuing as a Christian. And after going to church in Kidderminster for a couple of weeks, I think, Pastor Jeffery said to me, "Well, Clarice, have you made a decision about becoming a member as yet?" And I said, "Well, I'm thinking about it." And all I heard behind me was rubbish. Now get on with it. Here's the form, fill it out and get on with it. And I was so shocked by that response that I did, and I've been saying for ages. Rose said, "Are you going to become a member?" I said, "Well, I don't know, well, get on with it," was the response. There was absolutely no faffing around. And then I remember sitting in service one evening and missing Rose really, because hers and Anne's voice would be heard. No matter where you were, was it Prospect Hill, you could hear Anne and Rose singing. And so the singing was a little bit quieter than usual, and this is Mother Jeffry's really. She called me and she said, "Clarice, get up here and help them, will you?" And I really didn't even know the songs, but again, it was just get on with it. And that's how I felt really over the years, just to get on with what I believe and who I believe in, because of the models of these two incredible people really, who I just totally adored. And it's great to remember their faces by just looking at Anne and looking at Paul, because they're not out of my picture memory in my mind at all. So thank you, and thanks Paul for this opportunity.
From 1 Corinthians 15, a chapter of tremendous hope, telling us what the Christian faith is really all about. As we've been thinking, Jesus said, "I am the resurrection and the life. He who believes in me will live, even though he dies." And Paul took up that theme in 1 Corinthians 15 and said, our message is that Christ has been raised from the dead. And the truth is that Christ has been raised from death as the guarantee that those who sleep in death will also be raised.